Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. I wanted to share a short little thought on the Parsha. There's a really curious moment in the Parsha that I feel like we don't always talk about, and that is the efforts of the Jewish people to pass through the various lands that border Eretz Yisrael, or Eretz Canaan, as it is called in the Torah. They have to pass through maybe the land of Amorah or Edom, and then Og Melech Bashan. And so they try to ask permission to walk through the highway to get to Eretz Canaan, but they're initially rebuffed. Then they have to fight some wars. And what's most curious is when they go to fight against Og Melech Bashan, because when they go to fight against them, we have a very strange pasuk. The pasuk says, and I'm reading it off of my book, one second. It says, Vayidor Yisrael neder la'Adonai, vayomar, im naton titein et ha'am hazeh biadi, v'charamti et arehem. So it says that Israel makes a promise to God. And they say, if you give this nation in my hand, if we fight against the king of Arad, rather, not Og Melech Bashan, the king of Arad, if we're able to be victorious, we're going to donate some of the property that we've won, that we've conquered. We're going to donate it to you, God. We're going to consecrate it to you, God. And this is such an interesting moment. Like, since when do they have to make a promise what they're going to do in return for God? God's been saving them this whole time, and all God has ever asked of them is to keep the Torah. And here they say, we're gonna donate some of our belongings on your behalf. We're going to consecrate what we conquer to you. And what I think is most interesting about this is the comparison to the first promise made in the Torah with the same language of Vayidor Nedar. And that is the promise of Yaakov Avinu, where it uses the same language. Vayidar Yaakov Neder Lemor, Im yeh Elohim imadi ushmarani b'derech hazeh asher anochi holech, v'natan li lechem lechol veged lobosh, v'shavti v'shalom beit avi, v'yad Adonai li Elohim, v'even azot asher samti matzeva yeh beit Elohim, v'chol asher titen li aser aserenu lach. Yaakov says to Hashem on his way out of Israel, on the way to visiting Lavan, if you return me safely, I will make tithes to you. And this is so curious because there too, it seems like there's a deal being struck with God. And I think there's something really powerful going on here in both of these cases. We often think that God's giving to us, at least presented in the Torah, in some ways is entirely giving and unconditional. And our listening to God is supposed to be totally unconditional. And yet in both of these instances, what we see is Vayidor Neder. People make a promise that there's going to be some kind of reciprocation. What's really powerful and fascinating is that it uses the language of Yaakov and Yisrael, of Jacob and Israel, which, as we know, is Jacob's two names. And these are the only promises that occur in the Torah with this language of Neder. And I think there's something really powerful going on here, which is that even when we're in unconditional relationships, even when we're in loving and giving relationships, sometimes there's a real value and importance to offering covenant, to offering gifts, to offering recognition that when someone has given to you, whether it's God or a partner or a family member or a friend or a community member, we give something in return as a token, as an acknowledgement of the gratitude, and an acknowledgement and recognition that there was an exchange of gifts, that there was an exchange of giving from one to the other. So there's more to explore here. Feel free to comment below about this language of neder. Of course, there's lots of halachot, lots of theoretical discussions about making promises and vows, and yet I think it's very powerful that the two vows made in the Torah are incredibly parallel on a theological level, on a covenantal level, and on a textual level. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.